So welcome to another episode of Sports Extra, coming through thick and fast in the year 2025. And of course, we've got quite a lot to talk about. This is what we call our preview show, but there's a lot to review before we preview. We've got the likes of Tendai Chatara with an explosive audio that he has released, which is obviously going to put Zimbabwe Cricket in a pretty pickle. We're going to discuss the pros and cons of that particular voice note. It wasn't an interview because those were just his thoughts. And then, of course, we're going to take a look at ZIFA, the drama, the thrills and the spills. Well, guess what? The ZIFA Village finally getting an upgrade. Well, does it matter? Was it about time? Did it take too long? Well, that's all coming through in terms of our discussion. And of course, when we get onto the international scene, the Carabao Cup results, as well as a preview into the weekend. What can we expect? Who's playing who as the FA Cup rolls into life? Manchester United, Arsenal. Was that even a fair draw? Well, we'll be able to see that as we get in the show. And so, of course, I have a guest with me. I couldn't discuss all of this by myself. And a man who is no stranger to the Sports Extra platform, Norbert Bashi. Of course, he's also the Millennium loudspeaker. But great to have you on the show once again, Norbert.
Yes, it's good to be back, Ruimbo. We are looking forward to a great year. That is drama and fiasco free in terms of sports, because last year was just something else in terms of many sports, in fact all sports, particularly in this country.
Yeah. But you are looking for a drama and fiasco free time, but 25 January is about to come. That will give us the most drama at the end of it all. But I think the first and foremost one, the biggest drama to be released last night, it went circulating, it went viral, many blogs have written on it, and of course we are going to talk about it. Of course, the Zimbabwe cricket fast bowler Tendai Chatara, on a voice note on social media, bringing to light selection issues within Zimbabwe cricket. First and foremost, your general thoughts. Was he right? Was he wrong?
Well, I cannot say he was right, I cannot say he was wrong, but it is what it is. It was just high time somebody was going to say it aloud, particularly coming from a player. It's something, because if it was a journalist to say that, people throw stones saying these are being bought A, B, C, D, but this is a player who is more invested. He knows exactly what's happening in the system. So it was high time, and looking at it just opened a can of worms, and you were likely to see a lot of changes, particularly in the board, the hierarchy of the board, because names were talked about and everything was being said. It's very sad that he had to use foul language. It shows you how angry he was when it comes to the matter. So I wouldn't say thumbs up to Tendai Chatara, but I can just say it was high time somebody was supposed to say something, because we've seen this for quite some time, and the people were not talking about it for different reasons, best known to them. But I think now that it is coming from a player who was once chosen in the same system that is now blaming, it says a lot.
Oh yeah, all right. So let me play the devil's advocate here. I mean, of course, he mentioned two youngsters that are now part of the setup, the likes of Trevor Gwandu, Newman Nyamuri. They've generally accounted for themselves pretty well. I think on the domestic scene, Trevor Gwandu should be either second or third when it comes to the wickets being taken. Newman Nyamuri actually providing the first breakthrough in that run fest of a test match in the first one. So I mean, also at the same time, have they not also justified their selection, albeit even if it wasn't to the suitability of what Chatara was talking about?
Well, they've justified, but it doesn't change the fact that these selections, we've always said that most people are not chosen on merit. It's nepotism and stuff that see them playing in the national team. But yes, they've justified themselves. But the big question here we should be asking really is, because if you are given a chance to play, you obviously do your best, but it doesn't mean you are the best.
Fair enough.
So it's one of those things that we've seen. It's not just in cricket. We've seen in many sports that people are being chosen because they know A, B, C, D, or because they are rich, or because they have enough money to pay whoever is selected. So in this regard, I think yes, they've proven themselves. Yes, they are young stars. They are still upcoming and stuff. But something needs to be done so that these are big players will not say something about these young stars. Because now everyone will be looking at Trevor Gwandu and all these youngsters and say, if they were to do any mistake like what the Chataras were doing, remember when we bowled about about 3 wides when we were in a tight corner during those, people will be looking now saying, are these people chosen on merit, or they are chosen to just add numbers in the team because of their name? So using the experience they had during the domestic games, yes, I think they justified themselves, but still the big question remains:
Are they the best?
are they the best?
Well, that one is always going to be a big question. But just in case you're watching right now and you're wondering, what's this whole audio about? Well, take a listen.
Aiwa, unoziva kuti pano ndakazoona chimwe chinhu chiri kutotikwadzisa. Handa unoziva kuti iyo tonoona academy kaya inonga ina ana Twafanaito ana Nyamuri nana Trevor Gwandu. Saka iye unotoselekta naye kuti aratidze relevance yake kuti une zvaari kuita. Wazvinzwisa? Saka tinoti akato waiziya. Chitawo pano tongoita apa taufana tongopinda musystem totongotora mabasa aya boza kuti uri convener, uri academy coach, uri under 19 coach, uri chihuro zvina zvese izvo wazvona. Saka ndozvita kuti pano tonga tikangopedzawo tongoretire pana inini next year ndoretire tongotora mabasa aya. Changosara pandawo tongomira kuti contract yangu ikapera iyi ndotaura nagivi contract yangu haisi fanira kuchinja kana kudini. Ndomutaurira chokwadi kuti amudara ndakasevha nyika kwemakore 15 ndichitambira nyika, ndipei contract yangu ndoita metsi dzangu, musandidzikisira musandikwidza, ndipei contract yangu ndakugara ndinayo ndoita zvinova ndichiita wazvona. Totongopiwa mabasa, hapana tongoita mabowling coach kana vachi tongopiwa basa tingorimo wazvona, hapana. But asi chindo chinoda ingori nyaya yeselfish yoti iye uri kuda kuratidza kuti pemuri ndipa mabasa ekuita chiacademy ndiri kuprocisa maplayers autotambira chinyika, ende yeti ndiye wacho uri todini, ndiye unonga ari selector wazvona. Hapana, zvamufanira kuti ini ndikati ndine academy kwaMutare wazvona, panozozi nyika ndobva ndati zimei kuna fanai kwaMutare, ndozvaari kungoita, unongoita selfish basi. Diva hapana, diva ana cricket yakatamba ba unozvizivawo hapana chakatamba badiva kwazvona, hapana unotongoitawo zviripo, unongotaurwa zvekuita otongoita izvi, hazvina basa kuti unoziva kuti unogonera kana ugoni. Because iyo dhivha wakauya tiri kumidwest papa akaona tichikanda uyu wacho mufana unonzani Trevor Gwandu aripo mu4 mama wafana wasitoibva unozvo zviri pachena wafana wasitoibva but wanotongosiwa wai yango nyaya yekusevha basa rako wazvona. Because dhivha haakutimiririba unongoti itai zviripo anhu akadzimwa mabasa because makochi mangana aenda dhivha aripo unongotora kuti ini ndayapa anhu aruda uruzvona. Saka hapana vanhu vangu uya toto isusu kashikohadhira katikohwina login cup yedu isusu ngatiwine login cup yedu isusu towina login cup iwo wachamamiswa mu3 days kana mu2 days neafghanistan handa i54 when was the last time wakazwa kuti nyika inoita less than 100 kupi nyangwe mu2020 changu rini wazvona.
So as you can hear for yourself, a very feisty, a very angry, and a very emotional audio that has been put out there. But I think, obviously, as we're going to seal this one off here, Norbert, where to from here? The likelihood of Chatara maybe finding himself within the national team setup, the likelihood of him even playing franchise cricket anymore. I think more recently we just saw there's actually a result that came through. I believe it was the Eagles versus the Mountaineers playing in the Pro 50 Championship match. And guess what? Chatara picked up a 5. So I guess he's justifying his anger. But what do you think is going to happen from here?
Well, it looks like we're going to see a lot of changes, particularly within the hierarchy of the Zimbabwe Cricket Council, the board and everything. Why? Because names were thrown. Obviously, they're going to investigate some of these things. But for Chatara, yes, he's a good player, but I don't see him playing many games. I wouldn't say any, but many games. It's going to be tricky for him to play because no one, if it is true what you are saying, if it is really true, no one wants to hear the truth. We are always find ways to hide the truth, and one of the things that anyone who is being accused can do is just to remove that person from the position that they are in. So it's going to be a it's going to be tense in terms of the selections that are coming, particularly if you look at the fact that in 2025 we've got a lot of games, cricket games to play. So for Chatara, it might be his last year.
Well, effectively, he did say it was going to be my last year, and I'm looking to retire next year. But anyway, let's see how all of that one goes. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments around this one because it is a very feisty and contentious issue. And so now we turn our attention to the splendiferous, the spectacular. That's what I would say. But ultimately, the story that hopefully brings a little bit of warmth within our hearts. And that is ZIFA bringing out a press release and saying that the ZIFA Village will finally get a facelift, will be spruced up, will be refurbished. Now, Norbert, this is a facility that has been in existence for many a year. Arguably, it can be even 2 decades, to say the least. But nonetheless, it's finally getting a facelift. Your general thoughts on this one?
Well, I think it's high time, considering the fact that, the National Sports Stadium on its own, of course, it doesn't, ZIFA does not own it anyway. It was, we were banned because we don't have a stadium that meets international standards. So for ZIFA, for me, I think they are sending a message somehow that, well, we are putting our house in order, so you also need to. Because it was high time. Because last time I went there, it was not looking good. It was not looking good at all. Because you see, if you're a motherboard like ZIFA, and you want to say something pertaining the issue of stadiums, you have to start. Charity begins at home. Start within your house.
Yeah, just within your own circles.
So I think that's what they are doing now. Plus, thanks to the parliament that is now closer to
forcing some standards.
because it's a state of the art parliament. But you've got a, I don't know, state of what, ZIFA Village,
state of disrespect.
Yes, because the ground was, they've got a nice facility. They don't want to lie, but it just need to be maintained. You don't want to see the drama like, well, what happened in '95 when we hosted the All Africa Games. Stadiums were built, but look at Magamba Netball Complex, look at Mbari Netball Complex, look like the Complex. Yeah. They are now known for singing shows rather than sports. It's said. So you don't want to see the same happening to the ZIFA Village. So thumbs up to the guys, and we hope to see a new facelift, as they said, a state of the art.
Yeah. That is an overused statement, but especially in Zimbabwean circles, believe me, it's overly used and sometimes even overly stated. But in any case, obviously there's going to be major benefits here. They're talking about where teams will also be camping and sleeping, and then ultimately fixing that pitch as you are talking about, as well as even areas, conference facilities, so to speak, that can also be leased out to other entities that may not necessarily be just football. But just how much of a benefit do you see it being for our own national teams that are in serious need of facilities to actually just do a lot, like camps and realignment camps and things like that?
You see, just like any other person, it feels good to be a landlord, because most of these guys, kunyengera chinhu chinorwadza, because you have to nyengerera vanhu kuti mupiwe facilities and train. And now that we have their own, it will say a lot in terms of everything that is football related, because the guys will be going there, training there and stuff. And also, look at the parliament. It's a tourist attraction. Yeah. So you also need to take advantage of that. People will be coming to see, and you say, no, Next door we've got our ZIFA Village, you know, where our teams do this. Well, you know, maybe tourists will be attracted into to bring a little 2 cents to the already, you know,
struggling
entity like ZIFA. So yes, so I think the teams, national teams in particular, particularly the under 17s, the junior teams, they will benefit more. Because most of the players that play for them are locally based, so they would go there. It's unlike the main national teams, like the Warriors, where maybe they just come, they train for 1 or 2 days and then leave. For them, it will be a plus. They will camp there, they will do their trainings before they depart for wherever they will be going.
Yeah, most definitely. So we hope that it will definitely provide those kinds of benefits. But tying two issues at hand, and obviously we're going to be going for a break after this. The same entity is going through elections, but obviously more and more drama has unfolded. A trio that was told you are not legitimate wants to be legitimized. And so, of course, they've gone through their legitimacy contestations, and we've got actually, in fact, we've got 4 of them. One is doing the High Court here. 2 are doing the High Court here, and then 2 are doing, the Court of Arbitration for Sport. Let's go down the list, Norbert. Should any one of these be actually going for legitimacy contestations?
Well, for me, looking at Benjani in particular, I'm surprised to see. Well, I wouldn't know much, but I was surprised to see Marshall Gore in there, but Benjani not in there, because I know they both live abroad. So I think maybe Benjani is looking at it and saying not, because the explanations came later. Because we were just told that you failed. Yes, this, that. So I even talked to one of the guys who are actually appealing here to the High Court, and they are saying, you know what, it's going to be a tough election. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy because we need answers, and we need answers real quick as well. Just throwing big words, you know. But I think it's well. It means something. Something somewhere is very wrong. Because you cannot have course. It's only Farage who then said, you know what, I'll do this. It's all right. There will be another time. Maybe I'll pass later because of ABC. Maybe he understood how he failed, and these ones they really don't understand. So they are looking forward to see real answers as to why they failed.
So looking at the guys, it's Prophet Walter Maguire, yes. Gift Banda, former honorable, that is Mr. Temba Mliswa, and I do believe there's another one there, Benjani Marwari. Now, obviously, when you look at that, Gift Banda served as a vice president. When you look at Prophet Walter Maguire, obviously president of Yada FC. You've got Benjani Marwari, who has obviously been piling up his certifications outside of the country. And then you've obviously got Mr. Temba Mliswa, who has also been part of the whole concoction of, football administration. In essence, even if they were to make it through, what would your general assessment about their capacity be? Maybe listing one by one briefly.
Oh, they all have what it takes. Look at Temba Mliswa. He is a proven administrator, and he has the voice that most of these presidents do not have, because he knows the offices to knock at and what to say at what time. And his track record in cricket, in rugby, even in soccer is a proven one. And for Benjani, yes, he is doing, the Undertaker is doing great. Like what you said before, he's piling up his qualifications, his papers. The boy is doing it abroad, so we need that international. Because look at Samuel Eto'o, he's just doing wonders with Cameroon. So he can also do better. And I know many people are crying for Prophet Walter Maguire because of the stadiums and what he has done for Zimbabwean football. In the past, he also has what it takes, though it needs to be checked somehow, just like any other. And then you look at Gift Banda. Yes, he once served as the vice president, but the manner in which he failed, he says a lot if he is to win and then become, whether you contest or what. Because honestly, 87 there was no Zimsek. Unless if he wrote his own, I wouldn't know. But he has what it takes, because you remember, he once served as a vice president. He knows what needs to be done, and he can actually do the job perfectly. But still, the question remains, all the reasons they failed. They have to just tell us as they are, so that we can see where it's, because it seems as if they're covering up something somewhere. Because not many people really know how these guys ended up failing.
Well, anyway, that's definitely going to be a question mark for many a day to come, but we'll leave that in the hands of the normalization committee to try and assist us in that. We're going to take a short break, and when we do come back, we're going to be taking a look at other stories as well. Scotland FC, well, they're on a massive buying spree. Can you match them? Well, we'll see on the other side. So Scotland FC is the team to watch out for. Promoted more recently into the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League for next season. Well, I'm not so sure if Castle Lager will come back again. But in any case, I believe there was a deal for many a year to come. So we are not so sure whether that will still remain the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. But Scotland FC, the team to watch out for. They are on a buying spree. So far, I think I can count, well, the ones that are followed, close to 15 players that have been bought by Scotland FC. They literally went and said, Simba Bora, thank you very much. We're shutting you down. You are the champions. We're taking everyone. And they took close on to 12 to 13 players from them alone. Then they took Kama Billiat and, of course, Nathan Mutasa more recently being added to that, who is a son of socialite Pokelo. But, of course, we're going to discuss this one. No, but I think we've got a serious challenge here. They've gone on a buying spree. We know Simba Bora did pretty much the same previous season. They bought 11 players. And what our challenge really now is do not FIFA, they aren't FIFA actually. These are basically league-based. Do financial fair play rules actually exist in Zimbabwean football?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because if you see a team that first, the team that that got promoted, only eight members have been retained. The other ones, they were taken from the PSO, their teams. And looking at it alone, you know, the heart and soul of Zimbabwean football are the small teams. Those teams that are not financially strong. And if you see them losing their best players to the so-called big guys, like what Scotland is proving to be, it shows that there are no financial fair play
at all. But is it something that is possible for PSL to actually implement? Because I think looking at the challenge of contract periods that tend to exist in the PSL, most contracts 1 year. So is it something that that PSL may need to look into and apply, or is it something that is just not necessary because of the construct of their league?
No, they have to sit down and look. This is a direct testimony that something needs to be done. Because you cannot have a team that comes and bulldoze every other team and getting the cream de la cream of the PSL, and you just smell there. There are other teams that you know that they cannot match even maybe the least paid. Probably the least paid Scotland player is as any match than the most paid player of another so-called small team in the league. So it's high time that the Premier Soccer League do something, because we cannot have this year in, year out that teams are just coming, they are all sponsored, and then they take everyone. It just shows it's a circus. Because we don't want to do that Animal in Demkuru. Yes, it is a song. Yes, it is a reality, that Animal in Demkuru, but not in terms of sports, because it will just destroy everything. So the PSL needs to come up with whatever they're going to do, and then look into it and see how best they can. I'm sure it was done in the United States of America and the MLS. It was done. They can actually copy that same thing, and then they can introduce it here. Because honestly, we don't want to lie, it's going to be a tricky.
But also, there's one argument I would want to pose that others as well have been talking about, that whilst we may say that all these players are being bought big, but it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody is going to be paid the same in Scotland. Obviously, if you buy a Kama Billiard, there's a high likelihood that you can't pay him the same with Timon Machope. I mean, no disrespect to Timon Machope, but Timon Machope and Kama Billiard, two different names in terms of the weight that they carry in football. So would it not be a wise idea for some of the players as well that even were retained to actually find another club to have game time, because the likelihood of game time is going to be very difficult in Scotland FC.
You see, it said wow, let me be brutal and honest, it kills our football. Why? Because if you look at Scotland, for them to be promoted, they came to the Premier Soccer League teams and then they took some of the players, the Alan Guard, Zikwas, they came, and then they are the guys that helped them get promoted. And now
they no longer matter.
They no longer matter. So what it means is that those guys will come again and go to the other PSL teams that are struggling, and then they can go there, they can have contracts there, and what it is killing the development, because the other youngsters were looking forward to be part and parcel of those teams, but because Alan Gadzikwa has been thrown away by, we're not saying he has been thrown away, he has been thrown away by Scotland. He's a proven player. He can just come and knock at one of the doors of the Premier Soccer League teams, and then the door will be opened, and like this other youngster who is really trying to. So it has to do something with, most players need to be educated, because some of them, their contracts have expired, some of them were bought, and etc. But you have to look at it, look at some of the guys who are coming from Shamba. The main reason why some of them were being written in newspapers and everything is because of that Simba Bora team. For me, let me be brutal. For Timon Machope to be what he is, come on, he was just playing soccer somewhere, and Simba Bora made him the person he is. And now, either he's dumping them or what, but it shows that something is lacking, because in the system, because you are supposed to play the Champions League, and now you are going to Scotland, you are just being promoted. There's no Champions League. Maybe there's a team in SA or somewhere that we're interested in him, but now that he's not playing there,
they wouldn't care less. And also, definitely a lot that we have to try and dissect, and hopefully PSL can look into financial fair play rules, because it just means if you've got the money, you bulldoze everyone, and that means all of the smaller teams will never grow, will never develop. I think we've seen how financial fair play rules have worked in Europe, even especially in the Premier League. Look at Nottingham Forest, look at Bournemouth, look at Brighton and Hove Albion, look at Aston Villa. All these that were considered to be mid-table teams have now become serious contenders as well for Champions League places. So let's see how all of that will generally go. Well, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, finally, we are going to be talking about international football and previewing what is going to be coming up next. Carabao Cup, Tottenham, and of course Newcastle United, surprising the big boys. But it's only the halftime break, isn't it? See you on the other side. So, Newcastle United, 2-0 winners. There you go. And apparently a ball that flies around. Yeah, so it was said by the Arsenal coach. So anyway, Newcastle wins by 2-1. Tottenham as well, stunning Liverpool.
Where is that one coming from?
Why are you doing that? And then, of course, Tottenham winning by 1-0 against Liverpool. So let's get into that and obviously preview what is going to be coming up over the weekend. As the boy they fly. That's what Mikel Arteta said. It's not me. He said that.
Oh, if you want to win, you can win by whatever means.
Yeah.
Because obviously they knew that Arsenal was at home, and Arsenal are playing good football. But this is a cup game. What we just need is a win. We win, and then we can do it. Yes, it was wherever it was, but as long as they saw the ball getting into the net, it means it was somewhere around. So they were supposed to do the same. So well, we know we still have 90 minutes to play, and Arsenal being the top team that they are these years, wow, it will not be surprising to see them overturning the first leg. But well, it doesn't surprise if they to go out. Why? Because ever since Mikel Arteta took over, he only has one FA Cup. And then it means that every time this is exactly what is happening.
So near, but yet so far. But okay, fine. What is happening with Arsenal? What is the problem?
Well, come on, Brimbo. You know, soccer. You look at. I always want to put Manchester United when you talk about what is happening because we've seen Manchester United for the first time ever since I started supporting football. I've never seen Manchester United the other side of yes, but we are seeing it. It means at Arsenal, I wouldn't say there are many problems, but their goal scoring, they missed a lot of chances, and maybe it's because they are tired of scoring or what, I wouldn't know. But Newcastle is playing good football, and they find a match in Newcastle, that is Arsenal, and they were thumbed. Why? Because I think complacency played a role.
I will come in. I will say I don't think it's complacency. I think they've always stuck to this decision, or Mikel Arteta has stuck to this decision, which is still a mystery for me. Kai Havertz cannot give you 20, 25 plus goals in a season. And that is what you need out of a central striker if you're going to challenge for a title. True or false?
True. But you see, you see was scoring over the past games, but I don't know what happened. But you see, these players, I always go back to the issue of fatigue, and as the games are coming fast and furious. And maybe, although he didn't say that, maybe it is playing a role. But they were not allowed to play the football that they usually play. So thumbs up to Newcastle. They knew what was needed to be done, and they did that exactly. And they were 2-0 winners.
And end of story. No flying football. Like as if it was written Superman or Batman. There's nothing like that. Tottenham obviously winning by 1-0 against Liverpool. Not necessarily a result that we expected, but definitely something that will lift the spirits of Tottenham Hotspur, because it's just been tough times, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You know, after that 6-3 thumping, I think they did their homework, and they knew that this was a cup game. Liverpool, after their 2-2 draw against Manchester United, I'm sure the Tottenham coach saw something in there that was Liverpool's weakness, and then he just used that and he grabbed a win. It's still half time, or there's still 90 minutes to play, but we just say thumbs up to Tottenham, because nobody saw that coming. Ending Liverpool's 24 winning run, losing it to a team that they beat 6-3. It's just something else. So thumbs up to them.
So could it be the coming off of the wheels of the slot juggernaut?
Well, I wouldn't say that. It's just the reality is now sinking. That no team is as invincible as they thought they were. Because Lapa was too much. And United then find a way to kind of end that.
That particular run.
Because come on, we all saw that United versus Liverpool game. United almost won it. They almost, and then no one, I remember I was one of the people who said, you know what, I'm seeing a 4 or 5 plus nil thumping. But I was actually surprised. So that is football.
Well, it definitely is football. But talking about what will be coming up in the weekend, well, tomorrow night may not necessarily be a celebratory night. Also, the Gunners themselves have got a tough assignment. They'll be taking on Manchester United. Obviously, Man United will also feel that they can maybe inflict more hurt and harm on Arsenal, whilst there'll be a various amount of other FA Cup games that will be coming up over the weekend. So in terms of Premier League action, none. It is going to be FA Cup action through and through. let's look at the big game that obviously everyone's eye is going to be on: Arsenal versus Manchester United. Can Arsenal return? Will Man United falter back into default settings this season? What do you think will happen this time around?
Well, it's going to be interesting because the last time they played, Arsenal were 2-0 winners, thanks to their set piece creativity. But I'm sure whoever the set piece coach at Manchester United took notes and he knows what needs to be done, because in terms of play, well, they're playing similar football, and I think United are going to. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, but I see probably a new old draw.
A new old draw.
Well, Arsenal is struggling to score.
Yeah.
The same can be said about
Man
United, because you cannot see one of your shortest CBs coming to score
and then expected to score
more. Yes.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Joshua Zexi hat-trick. I know anyway. But I guess at the end of the day, it is really going to be about who shows up at the end of the day. So in any case, this brings us to the end of this Sports Extra episode. Obviously, we've been talking a whole lot about football, and we just touched on cricket. Next week, believe me, next week we're going to be delving deep into local rugby, because our local rugby season is about to come into play, and we're going to talk about the under-20 rugby league. What's that going to look like? Who are the players to actually look out for? And for us as Sports Extra, we're going to be looking to feature some of the coaches as well as captains of these sides. But it leaves me to say thank you very much for joining us on Sports Extra. Thank you very much to our guest, Norbert Brashi. As always, he'll be coming back again with his conspiracy theories around the ZIFA elections, and obviously saying what he would love to say around that. But thank you so much once again for coming.
It's good. Thank you very much, Ari. Always remember to keep it a Sports Extra.
Yes, indeed. And so up until our next show, cheerio.